Okay, reconvene. Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by an invocation by Trustee Arouse. Thank you, Trustee Arouse. Okay, revision, adoption, ordering of agendas. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Jose, okay. Okay, please vote. There we go. Okay, report out of closed session.
There is a report tonight, Mr. President. In closed session, the board took action to issue notice to the following certificated administrative employee that he/she may be released from his or her administrative position and reassigned pursuant to Ed Code 44951, effective at the end of the 2014-15 school year, and directed the superintendent or designee to send out the appropriate legal notices. The roll call vote was, first of all, the motion was made by Mr. Agundez, seconded by Dr. Arouse, and those in favor included trustees Agundez, Arouse, Cooley, and Nellison, and the no vote was cast by Mrs. Twyman. And the employee number was 212590.
Thank you. Okay, district update by the superintendent.
Well, good evening, everybody. And looking out in the audience, it's so surprising to see Mr. Holstrom's here, a longtime board member and employee of the district. So unusual to see you out there, Mr. Holstrom, and not up here. But we welcome you to the board meeting. And I don't think you can help Lorna with what she's doing, but I'm sure you'll give her moral support. Yeah. Okay. A number of items to talk about tonight. First of all, we're going to start with the RAVE Awards. We have some wonderful employees to recognize. Mr. Swartz, you're on.
Members of the board and the public behind me, we are pleased to be able to present a RAVE. Actually, we have 3 RAVE Awards tonight, and RAVE stands for Recognizing All Valuable Employees, and these are nominated. We have employees that are nominated by other employees for some outstanding service going above and beyond, and I'm proud that we have with me tonight is Erica Holstrom, and she has nominated Elliot Hayes. If Elliot would join us at the podium, and I'll have Erica speak about why she made this nomination for Elliot. So there you go, Erica.
Elliot Hayes has done an excellent job of repairing and replacing the damaged Chromebooks at Paris Lake High School. He does this in a really timely manner, and he makes sure that we have enough. and he's also patient with the students who have questions. And sometimes there's a lot of questions. So thank you for your help, Elliot.
Did you let Elliot go without him introducing his wife?
Well, I asked him.
Oh man,
You
Elliot,
might want to come back up here.
could be a long walk home.
You know, I hate to be the historical person here because I'm not old enough to do that, but Elliot's wife was the first recipient of the Rave Award of many years ago, right, Mrs. Hayes? Yeah.
And Mrs. Hayes is a accountant over at Paris High School working on student finance, and we appreciate your help as well. We certainly are trying to help Elliot out a little bit.
Okay, our next two awards are going to be given out by Joe Williams, and I will let him go ahead and introduce the two gentlemen that will be presented with the award tonight.
Bring up Justin first. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you Justin Brecht over here. He's a Tech 3 on our campuses. You know, the Rave Award really goes out for exemplary work, but just in general, Justin is a great person to work with. Every campus that he's on, everybody raves about how his customer service and how he solves things. And we've always known this about Justin, that he was great to all employees. But recently, at Paris High School, Justin came across a problem that a teacher was having. And what I always want my techs to do is to be able to solve problems and to think and not do things like we've always done before. So Justin had spoke with Mr. Hayes, and we'll be talking to Mr. Hayes in a little bit about the problem Mr. Hayes was having trying to do innovative things in the classroom. And Justin took an idea of repurposing equipment, putting open source software on there, providing this from the ideation stage, from just the beginnings of what you could do, following it all the way through to getting it loaded on the computers, and then working with Mr. Hayes and communicating with my department, getting the teacher and the kids the resources that they need. And it's extremely innovative. We're going to see that from Mr. Hayes. So Justin is generally the type of person you want to work in your department. But if you want somebody that can blow up the model, somebody that can think outside the box or even think there is no box, this is Justin. Do you have something to say? Yes, come on, Justin. I would go into detail about what specifically he did. He took the netbooks and he put UberMix on it and all this other geeky stuff that I'm like, But anyways, he got Mr. Hayes and the kids the resources that he needs. So this is Justin. Thank you. So before we get started with Mr. Hayes, we're going to show a little video of what Mr. Hayes did, or what the students did. So we're going to see a little video. Tell them what they're going to see before we get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, board members and cabinet. You're going to see a video of the Castrobot. The Castrobot was an RC car that was donated by a special education student that was in my class last year, and we didn't have the technology in place to make his dreams come to life. But with the support of Mr. Williams and Justin, we now have that ability to do these kinds of things. So what you're going to see here is an RC car that was slowly taken apart and repurposed into an autonomous vehicle, and that means it avoids obstacles that are in front of it, things like that. And this is completely open source from scratch, coding to hardware.
Okay, so we're going to cut these power with our Arduino board. Yeah, we don't need this circuit board anymore. We're going to power with our own board, which I believe is a lot better.
This is a student taking the circuitry that came from the manufacturer out of it, and we're going to replace it with our own.
Now we're going to use these two wires so we can hook it up to our Arduino board. And this will control the front wheels.
The prototype system, it's long and arduous. This has been getting just the steering working as a component. And here's their first run last Wednesday, getting their prototype to work. It's still very taped together, but it stays out of the way of things. You can see its little bat eyes on the front. Those are ultrasonic detectors. That's how it's seen.
See what I mean now?
What I love about the technology you guys have provided us, this was a 3-day process
Gonna have to make
from
it-
start to finish.
It's got to come back more.
3 days for them to get this idea to work.
System malfunction.
So, Mr. Hayes is a tireless advocate for the students of Paris High School. If there's something not working for him, guarantee you we're going to hear from Mr. Hayes, and we love that about him. He makes sure that the district provides great resources for the students, and he's taken the idea, the embodiment of the idea. I don't know if you know, but there's a movement called the Maker Movement. And Ryan Hayes' classroom is true inquiry learning, constructivist learning, maker movement learning, and the kids took all these disparate tools and open source resources, and they created an autonomous vehicle that would avoid obstacles. Just so you know, we're also imploring Mr. Hayes' students to create temperature sensors for us, for our tech department. So getting them the supplies so that they could create temperature sensors, and we can put them on our IDF and MDF cabinets, and then we would know anytime what the temperature R is in our servers, and they're working on that too. So Mr. Hayes, as a tireless advocate, he's doing great things for the students, and I wanted you to know who he is. And here's his Rave Award. You want to say anything else?
I want to take the opportunity to thank all of you for this explosion in opportunities that we've been given in Paris High School in the last several years, starting out with the Chromebook rollout, and now it's snowballing out of control, and it's just adding up to so many great opportunities for my students. I just wanted to thank you. So I hope that you guys continue this very hard push in this regard. Thank you.
And that's his daughter Phoebe right there too.
Thank you for the Rave Awards. I appreciate that, and congratulations. We have some wonderful employees doing great things for students in our district. I'd like now for Tanya Davis, wherever she is. So while Tanya is out, I will play Tanya Davis, but not nearly as well. I'd like to ask Julie Zerold and Audrey Smith to come to the microphone, please. With her. Last month, Governing Board, we introduced our Employees of the Year, and these two employees could not be here. I wanted to recognize them. First, we have Audrey Smith, who's the District Classified Employee of the Year, and she is a finalist for Riverside County Classified Employee of the Year. Ladies and gentlemen, Audrey Smith.
I just wanted to say that while I am the recipient, there are many people I'm representing who represent me. It all started with Grant Bennett, and now this is my captain. This is Julie. I love her so much, Julie Zerold, who 100% trust me. And when people trust you and they put their faith in you, it makes you want to rise to the occasion. It makes you want to be better, do better. And they give me freedom to do what it is that I love to do. And I think because I have that freedom, it's why I'm successful, but I'm not successful outside of the people that help me to be that way. So I want to say, while I stand here, I'm representing all the people in counseling and all the people in the office that catch my mistakes, who clean up after me, and who just love me despite being the person that I am. And also, I brought a young man with me today. This is Axel Uvea-Covey, and I knew he wouldn't say no. He is one of, and just, talk about honors, and this is an honor. This is a true honor for me. I don't take this lightly. It is a great honor, and I'm very proud of it. This young man also, he was just one of two of our football players in the entire district who just last month played in the Inland Empire versus Orange County, and we beat them. Football game. It was like 69 to, I don't know, it was sad. But he is just an example of why I love what I do, because I'm blessed by the students every year, and he is my one this year. I love him. I love his family. They're amazing people, and they make me better. He has definitely imprinted in my heart, in his family, and it is because of young men and women like him that I'm honored to do the job that I do. And I thank you for the opportunities that you guys allow me to have every day. I appreciate it so very much.
I think I did. Yeah, I think you weren't listening. She's a finalist for classified. I think I did say she's a Riverside County finalist for Classified Employee of the Year, and I expect she's going to win. If she doesn't, there will be consequences for the Riverside County Office of Education. You know, Audrey wasn't here, and to be honest with you, she wasn't here last month because she was doing something which she does all the time, and that is she was taking kids, chaperoning them, transporting them places, doing things that are well beyond her job description. That's the kind of employee Audrey Smith is, and we're honored to recognize her. Congratulations again, Audrey. Now, the lady to my right is Julie Zerold, principal of Heritage High School. This is the second time she's been nominated by our district to be Principal of the Year. So she's our District Principal of the Year. And like Audrey, she's a finalist for the second time as Principal of the Year. So we're hoping that the county gets it right this time and picks Ms. Zerold. But we are so proud of what she and her team have accomplished. And she's won kind of like Audrey Smith. She's going to tell you that the credit goes to everybody else, but it's my pleasure to recognize our District Principal of the Year, Julie Zerold.
Well, just like Audrey said, there's lots of people that bring us the success that we get, and the recognition doesn't really go to us. It's the people that surround us, so that we're truly blessed by the people that we work with at Heritage. We all have a very strong passion for our students, and I think that that's what inspires you to do more and more is when you have that mindset on a campus and you see so many faces out there that are all looking out for the best for our students, and it inspires you to look for more ways to improve the success of your students. And that's the greatest reward of all, is when you see those kids walk across the stage, and some of those kids that you might have beat your head against the wall a couple times because they were driving you crazy, but when you get to see them go across the stage and see their success, you know, when you get to see them playing football on the football field in college, or, you know, you get to hear about some of the successes, or they come back. We have students now that are coming back that were seniors when I first got there that are graduating and now coming back and subbing in our district, applying for teaching positions. So that's the best part, is when you get to see the end result after they come back and give back to the community. So it's an honor, and I'm just blessed to work with people like Audrey every day. Thank you.
I was going to say this later in my report, but she's here. As you know, we have a big push district-wide for students to complete the FAFSA applications to find out, to make sure that they qualify and get as much money as possible for college or for a training school, whatever they decide to do. And right now in the county, the high school that's had the highest percentage so far in FAFSA completion rate is Heritage High School in the Paris Union High School District. And I have to tell you, the last two ladies, while you'd say, well, that's not really in their job description, they're doing it. The counselors at Heritage High are doing it. The language arts teachers, senior language arts teachers who are requiring students to do it on their Chromebooks and to submit them right there in class, they are responsible for it. But, you know, there's an old saying, and leadership matters. And the leadership at Heritage High School is pretty amazing. Congratulations, Ms. Zerold. Last month, we recognized Jeff Perez as the Classified Manager of the Year for our school district. He is also a finalist for the Riverside Classified Administrator of the Year. So I wanted you to be aware of that as well. So I'm now going to go back there, but I'm going to ask Tanya to come up and talk briefly about our employee celebration that we had 10 days ago.
Good evening. I promised I wouldn't speak very long. Dr. Greenberg asked me to share with you just a little snippet of the event. I know Vicki Mueller helped. We'll come back next month and do a full presentation, but I would just like to say I think it was a huge success. Everything that we heard from the people who attended asked us when would this be an annual event. They love the casino night. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It was a great time. We had a great time planning it. We had a lot of fun. Even cleaning up, we had fun. But we'll come back next month and do a full little presentation. I'll ask as many members of the committee to come back as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Davis. We appreciate that. We did not know this, and it's coming up later in the agenda. We didn't know this until recently, but Lee Tankesley, who's been a Menifee Sun City resident for probably 40 or 50 years. He's been involved in our school bond efforts. He's sat on our committees, on our oversight committees. He passed away. We didn't know that until recently. And so with the board's permission, since he wasn't an educator, he certainly didn't give us thousands of dollars to do things, but he gave us his heart and his soul in supporting us. So if the board wouldn't mind it, I'd like to have just a moment of silence for Lee Tankesley. Thank you all very much. Well, we have some incredible students, and everybody already knows that, but this is something I haven't seen ever. Annabelle Torres, a student at Paloma Valley High School, has been selected for the 2015 High School Honors Performance Series at Carnegie Hall. She will perform on the flute at Carnegie Hall sometime later this month with the Honors Band. Participation in one of the three honors ensembles is limited to the highest rated high school performers from across North America and select schools internationally. Annabelle Torres is a sophomore. She auditioned this fall for the Honors Performance Series and was accepted after review by the Honors Selection Board. Acceptance to the elite group is a direct result of the talent, dedications, and achievements demonstrated in her application and audition recording. Annabelle will join other performers from 49 states, several provinces in Canada, and several foreign countries for a special performance at the world-famous Carnegie Hall, a venue that marks the pinnacle of musical achievement. I'm just in awe of this. I'm going to make sure next week I go out to Paloma and congratulate her, and maybe I can have her come to a future board meeting. I mean, that is really an incredible honor, and we're very, very proud of her. Also, we're proud of another female student. This one graduated from Paloma, I believe, in 2009, 2008. Nia Sanchez, who was Miss USA. She came in second for Miss Universe. So she came in second. Now, we're still questioning the votes. We're hoping that, no, I'm kidding. She came in second. And when you saw her on stage and you got a chance to hear her, she's such an articulate and vibrant young woman. We're also very proud of her. And we tried to get her to come back to speak. Dean Hauser was assistant principal at Paloma Valley at the time, and he failed to try to get her to come back and speak. After she became Miss USA, I guess she wasn't returning phone calls. But anyway, congratulations to Nia Sanchez. Also, last month we had a number of donations of blood. We had a blood drive at CMI that they were able to get 91 donations, and it's, you know, I'm a lifetime blood donor, and teaching kids the responsibility of doing that or being a part of it. If you can't donate blood, to help try to find people who do, because there is no synthetic blood out there. It's a real amazing learning experience for our students. And I also wanted you to know this goes on at all of our schools. I think about 2 weeks ago, we had an event at Paloma Valley High School. So congratulations to our students and staff. It's not just closed to students. Staff members are giving blood as well. Recently, I received a letter from Angel Tree of Nuevo. Dear Superintendent Greenberg, thank you most sincerely for the school district's donation of the food collected at the Heritage High School food drive. The collection of canned food helped towards giving 64 families a wonderful Christmas dinner, including 193 children. We had many volunteers who sorted the canned goods according to vegetable type, etc., making sure that each family received enough food to feed their family. We had enough canned food this year, but had to purchase 60 additional turkeys in order that each family had a complete dinner. We also gave each child a toy, a handmade Christmas stocking, and warm clothing, including a jacket or hoodie. The kids at Heritage High School have never let us down. Every year they come through with a trailer load of canned food. They have opened their hearts to the less fortunate, and we love them so for their caring ways. Please thank all the students at Heritage High School, and especially the agricultural department led by Mr. Chris Madalena. So congratulations again, Heritage High School, for doing that for our students. We just had a WASC review last week, mid-year. It's a 6-year accreditation for Paloma Valley High School. They had their 3-year mid-review, and they passed with flying colors. There was one review member there who came back who was there 3 years ago. And I want to read you just one comment he said. I mean, obviously he's impressed with all the great things that are going on at Paloma Valley. But he said, the cutting-edge use of one-to-one student Chromebooks is commendable. And that was one of his phrases that he put in his report. So I thought you'd want to know things are going well there. I can tell you that Marcy Savage and I, about a week and a half ago, we were at Paris High School well into the evening serving as judges for a speech contest put on by FFA. And we're happy to tell you that Emily Hamblin came in second. We tried to get her first, Joan, but we just couldn't get her over the top. We tried to convince the other two judges. No, Emily did a great job, as did all the students, and we're very proud of them. Last Saturday, the Heritage High robotics team competed, and they are now regional champs. They're going on to the Super Regional Championships in Oakland, and a lot of thanks goes to Marcy, Diane Martin, but clearly to the teacher advisor, Stacy McPherson, for really working hard with those students. I've already told you about FAFSA going well in the district. That's a goal of ours, to get more students completing their FAFSA documents so they can find out. A lot of our students are finding out that they're eligible for money that they had no idea they were eligible for. So thanks for the staff at all of our schools for making that happen. And we've had open houses at Pinacati Middle School and at Paris High School, and we're looking forward to the other 5 open houses as well. And that will complete my report for this evening, Governing Board and members of the public.
Thank you, Dr. Greenberg. Oral reports. PSEA President Paul Clay.
Thank you once again for this opportunity to address the Board of Trustees of the Paris Union High School District. I do want to especially thank you, considering that from time to time we do have contentious issues. And I'd have to say on this, on reflection, the several issues that I was going to bring up today, and I actually nicely printed it out, and it was only one page, I'm thinking I'm going to hold on to for now, because I think there's some developing things that I'm just being informed of. And I will address this, I think, later in emails to the district and the trustees. But I do appreciate the opportunity. Again, as I expressed about 2 hours ago, you know, I am concerned about our process for the termination of our certificated probationary teachers. And so you've heard me speak about it, and you certainly received my writings on that. So I just would like to reiterate that. And I thank you again for your time. Thank you again for your consideration.
Thank you, Paul. No CSEA tonight. Okay. Invitation to address the Board of Trustees on agendized and non-agendized items. I have a little statement here. A person wishing to be heard by the board shall first be recognized by the president and shall then proceed to comment as briefly as the subject permits. Individual speakers shall be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board shall limit the total time for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that the additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Okay, that being said, I have 3 today. First one's up is Jason Miller on teacher relations.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My apologies for the board for not coming in the last 2 meetings since we have a new board. I was engaged in my own political campaign, and so I just want to offer a few congratulations. First of all, congratulations, Dr. Rowe, for being elected. I was personally excited to see the numbers. Congratulations, Mrs. Twyman, for being reelected. Congratulations to Mr. Nelson and becoming board president. And thank you, Ms. Cooley and Mr. Agundes, for continuing to serve and continuing your role in serving our students. A couple things that I just wanted to speak about with the board. First, I support Pinacati PSEA members 100%. I hope the board and district administration listens to them carefully and what they have to say. The primary reason I came here tonight is to characterize our PSEA membership for you. Our PSEA members are the best. A hard-working bunch of people. They put in so much time into serving our students both on and off the clock. They are constantly engaging students with new curriculum. Our members are worth every penny. Our members are worth every penny, and they deserve to be paid more. Teachers take initiative in new pathways in our schools and find innovation in classroom management. I urge the board to visit and speak with PSEA members. Most of what you hear or who you hear from tends to be the cabinet. I urge you to come and speak to PSEA members, listen to their concerns, ask them about positive aspects of their jobs because there are positives. It's not all complaining. I myself love working in this district and interacting with these great PSEA members here, and I continue to want to just be in this district. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on construction at Paris High, Vicki Mueller.
Good evening, Board. I was asked to come speak to you tonight from a community member, and they wanted to know what's going on at Paris High. It didn't look like there's been any movement on construction for some time now, and they're concerned because a bond did get passed, and so they want to know why there isn't anything going on there for months, and is it going to be finished by even next school year at the rate that it looks right now? And so I told her I would ask, and I did that for her. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. And the last one is on this topic of vote of confidence, Brenda Velasquez.
First of all, thank you for your time. I would like this to become part of the permanent record. On behalf of the PSC members of Pinacati Middle School, I would like to share with the board the findings of our vote of confidence. On February 3rd and 4th of 2015, we held a vote of confidence on our administrative staff due to a mounting list of concerns. The conclusion of the vote indicated that the majority of the staff does not have confidence in our principal, Drew Morgan. The comments that staff members shared indicate our school has become a hostile work environment. Many of the concerns have been brought to Mr. Morgan several times through site reps, and they have been ignored. These concerns have also been brought to district administration several times, and nothing has changed. It is with deep regret it has come to PSEA coming to the board for help. There have been many issues in the past year that have directly involved Mr. Morgan. However, there have not been any grievances filed on behalf of the teachers because people are plainly afraid of retaliation. This fear in turn causes a hostile work environment where the targeted people feel there is an unfair match and there is nothing to be done that can help their situation. Through our site vote, comments were welcome. Some comments from the staff include, Mr. Morgan is manipulative, doesn't hear us, does not have the leadership/social skills to run a staff. Our school is no longer in a place where we are moving forward. We seem to be stalling altogether. Admin doesn't listen to or communicate to staff on changes. The divide is very strong, very intimidating, and becomes aggressive if you disagree. Admin seems to overuse their power and bear no responsibility for misuse of power. Although Mr. Morgan has been an administrator for 8+ years, he manages Pinacati Middle School in an immature and oftentimes illegal way. Our 3 assistant principals seem to be in constant confusion due to the lack of communication from Mr. Morgan, which affects our staff, which in turn affects our student body. Our small school has 3 APs under Mr. Morgan, which has not helped our site due to what we think is his lack of management skills. Things need to change immediately. We need a positive workplace where we can educate our students instead of the negative place our campus has quickly turned into. We can no longer put up with belittling, sexism, intimidation, harassment, or the unfair practices that have been going on in our school from Mr. Morgan. According to Keenan Safe Schools, workplace bullying can be divided into 3 categories: aggressive communication, acts of behaviors aimed at humiliation, and manipulation. Unfortunately, the staff of Pinacati has experience of acts of all 3 categories from Mr. Morgan. I'm asking the board to take this into consideration and please respond in writing to and start an investigation in this matter. We're asking the board to help us and reconsider Drew Morgan's current assignment. Pinacati is at a loss of direction and true leadership. I've also attached some issues from the Positive Climate Committee that our school has been having since last year when Mr. Morgan first became our administrator. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Ms. Velasquez. Okay. Oh, we have the consent calendar.
Okay.
Dr. Greenberg, you had something?
Yeah, do the board members want to be clear what items are the ones that you want?
10, 23, 12.
Uh-huh. And Mr. Agundez, did you have one too?
Yeah, it was, what was it,
1017, I believe you said.
1017? You have those two? Right, yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion to pull these 2 items?
So moved.
Second.
Do we need to
Are
vote?
you taking that on your stick? Okay. All in favor of pulling these 2 items from the consent calendar, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay. I say that now or at the end? Okay. Okay. So, excuse me. So approval of the consent calendar as amended, I do need a motion for that, please.
So moved.
Second. Carolyn, I was scared.
Is Ed and Carolyn? Okay, so this is a vote for the consent calendar as amended. Please vote.
This is due. Are they actually approving the consent calendar then right now? Yeah,
Okay.
which they did.
Is there anything else we need for that? Okay, thank you. Okay, any introduction of promoted and or new employees?
None tonight.
That was with the
There's an information item 14.4.
That'll come up later in the agenda.
14.4.
Okay. Oral report, 2014-15 estimated Title III annual measurable achievement objectives.
Mr. Tippy, are you ready to come up and talk to us about that?
Enlighten us.
Please enlighten us, Mr. Tippy.
Good evening, President Nelson and honorable members of the board, Dr. Greenberg and District Cabinet. I have the pleasure and honor of sharing with you the, as Mr. Nelson mentioned, the annual measurable achievement objective. So this is the accountability system that measures progress of our English learners, so a very important system that we're looking at. And I have just a little bit of information that we shared with our district English Learner Advisory Committee, our DLAC. So I modified the presentation a little bit. So just some background information. We're required by law to annually assess students that come from a home where 2 languages are spoken. And that's used for initial identification, to determine if the students need special services and program placement, and then annually to measure growth on the English language development standards. So just a little bit of background information. Once again, the students are administered this test when they first enroll in a California school, and then every year we measure their progress in developing English language development skills. 4 domains in this assessment system: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And we are goal is to get students from the beginning, earlier, and intermediate to the early advanced and advanced levels. And the accountability system that's used for this is broken up into actually 4 different objectives that we have to show improvement on. The first one would be the percentage of students increasing on this CELT, so we're looking for improvement, trying to get students from the beginning levels to intermediate and so on and so forth, or getting them to the early advanced stages. AMAO 2A looks at the percentage of students that meet the proficiency levels, and those are students who have been enrolled in a U.S. school for less than 5 years. AMAO 2B looks at students that have been enrolled in a U.S. school for more than 5 years. So you may have heard the term long-term English learners. Those would be students who, and different definitions look at it differently, but students that have been enrolled in a U.S. school for quite some time. This is the chart, the district data that we're looking at. For the first AMAO 1, we did meet that target, and we showed some slight increases from 61% to 62.5%. AMAO 2A, we shared this information with each school, so we wanted to make sure that they understood that AMAO 2A is a small number of students, so it's okay to look at this information at the district level. We have 133 students, but that's why that target fluctuates quite a bit from year to year. AMAO 2B, we met that target as well, so we stayed pretty flat, but we did meet the target at about 53%. And then AMAO 3, that is the AYP targets that were met, and we haven't had any state testing in that category, so they're frozen and it carries over. So it didn't meet our targets for AMAO 1 and 2B, which are really, for me, the most significant. We are showing growth for our students. I broke this down by the specific domain, so we saw a little bit of growth overall in reading and listening. We struggled a bit with writing and the speaking throughout the district, so those are some areas that we're focusing on. And then some of the things that we're doing to address the needs of our students, we have all of our ELA teachers we're working with RCOE to provide training to the teachers on the new ELD standards and the frameworks. We had teachers in just as recently as yesterday to learn the different strategies and the standards that align to the Common Core standards. And one of the things that a lot of the teachers commented on yesterday and in previous trainings were the alignment pieces that go to it. We used to have the content standards and ELA for the ELA standards, and then the ELD standards were kind of separate, and now they're more integrated. A big focus of the trainings and these new frameworks and standards are that there's not just one teacher that's teaching English language development. So if you ask a student, who's your ELD teacher, they should give you 6 different names. So the math teacher and the science teacher and the social studies teacher are all teaching language development. And we had some great conversations just yesterday. Math teachers talking about how they can have students collaborate in small groups and write in a math class, which was really interesting. And then we were working with the DLAC committee just a couple weeks ago on incorporating the LCAP goals into the EL master plan and making sure that we're supporting our kids in this endeavor. So a quick presentation, but if there were any questions or anything you wanted to add on to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tipping. Okay. Information item, discipline suspension report. Okay, action item, general functions, adoption of resolution number 16, going 14 to 15, week of the school administrator. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Don't all jump, all you guys jump at once. Okay, we have information on this? Or?
You know, it begins the season where we recognize our various employee groups, and we have teachers and classified employees coming up later in May, and this is the week of the school administrator, and clearly I am very proud of the fact that you've allowed me to work with an extremely talented group of administrators and managers. It gives me I'm very lucky every day to come and find out that anytime I recognize a problem, they've already fixed it. So I'm, again, very, very proud, and included in that would be, of course, technology. I think we're going to be calling it innovation very soon because they're innovating, but all of our classified managers and assistant principals and principals do that on a daily basis. And so I thank the board for recognizing them and their hard work.
And of course, this is for the week of March 1st through the 7th. So, any other questions, comments? No? Okay, please vote. All right. Okay, general function 2015 CSBA Delegate Assembly Election. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I think Carolyn was first. I think Carolyn was first.
Are you voting for all six?
Well, they have to.
8 or 9 on that page.
Yeah.
Actually,
there are six available. Yes. 6,
and you have 6. So you can adopt them all, or whatever. This is the time for you to discuss what the board would like to do with that.
It says from a field of 9, but the candidates are only 6. So there are 6 vacancies. And six people running, so I mean, I guess those will be our six votes. Unless we want to abdicate our votes on something. No. You're volunteering? No. Okay. So I guess we are voting on all 6 of these.
I think you have to have a motion to say.
They already said that. They already had the motion.
The motion is to support all 6?
The motion is to support all 6. Okay. So please vote. Okay. Okay, information item, curriculum, revised course, forensic science investigation. Information item, new course, marine biology.
Did you notice, Mrs. Twyman, right there in the title, meets A through G? We finally got it right.
Information item, revolving cash report, January 2015. Board policies, instruction, series 6000. Is this where you want?
Yeah, that's what she said. That's where it comes up?
Yeah.
14.4.
Yes, we're on 14.4.
Okay, great.
Actually, Grant, would you like to address the board policies on the high school grad rate requirements?
Yes.
Thank you.
The one and only Grant Bennett.
Yes.
President Nelson, Board, Superintendent Greenberg, and Cabinet. What this is kind of stems off of the presentation I made last month when we were talking about the number of students meeting the A through G requirements in our district and how we were only about 24% last year. And I made a recommendation at the end to make a change in our graduation requirements, which would be to make geography a elective course within the district, keep the course but make it an elective for kids to choose to take it. And then also to take health and blend it into our PE program. And I'd work with the PE teachers to make that, the health teachers to make that happen. So that's what this is though it reflects that recommendation I was making. There was a couple other little things in there. It was like we've only allowed seniors to be a teacher's aide, but in the old board policy it said they could be juniors, so we corrected that also in there as we as we were going through making those.
And for the discussion, I had a question. For the discussions for the health blended with PE, and the grading system that's going to go on, and who's responsible for what portion of it, is all that being worked out? I mean,
yeah, and I can kind of give you a synopsis of how it's going to work. In our system, we can do co-teachers in our system. So a teacher that would have, let's say you and Dr. Greenberg were teaching health and PE. You had your 18 of your PE kids in health, and you had 55 other kids out there with you in PE. And they were in his health class for 12 weeks. Well, on the grade, you can set up with the weighting 2 different teachers, and it would be weighted 2/3 of the grade would be on the health class. The other 6 weeks, the 1/3 would be weighted on the PE class, and it would automatically calculate it for the teacher.
And then the next semester would be 100% PE, essentially, because they're only having 12 weeks of the health.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it would be a co-teacher.
Yeah, we can set up with co-teachers and to be able to do that, and work with the teachers.
So would the health teachers only have 20 kids in their class, or would they take from multiple PE classes?
I'll go to another example. If the three, you and Mr. Agundes and Dr. Greenberg were all the teachers, you two had PE classes, 18 of each of your kids would go to health, and he would have 36, and then the next 12-week period, a different group would go.
Okay, I just wanted to get clarification on that.
And again, as a reminder to the governing board that other than Val Verde Unified, we are the only school district in this county that still requires geography and health as a high school requirement. The goal is to get students to take foreign language and fine arts. In fact, there's an increase in the graduation for fine arts. Is that correct?
What we're doing, what the proposal has is, before we had an or in there, they had to take 1 year of a fine art or 1 year of a foreign language. We're taking away the or and making it and. They have to take 1 year of a fine art and 1 year of a foreign language, because that'll align closer to what the A through G requirements are. We don't want to go so far as to say they have to take the 2 years of foreign language, because there are some kids that just won't be able to do that, and we don't want to keep them from graduating. But we feel that all kids can do 1 year of a foreign language.
But they need 2 years to get into
for the A through G.
The A through G requirements.
Either 2 years or pass the SAT 2 test.
And the other point that I want to make is that reminder that outstanding Paloma Valley teacher Andrew Paulson was here last month speaking about AP Geography. His AP Geography class will be an elective, and knowing him and the kind of teacher he is, those classes will be full, meaning students will want to take that.
And open up 9 through 12 at that point, where any grade could be in it instead of basically a freshman class. So it would be more availability, because those AP kids are always looking for another AP class to take. And if we could offer that as a junior or a senior when they have more flexibility in their schedule, it would be available for them.
But sometimes their career or their schedule.
Your microphone.
Sometimes their schedule is so full they cannot get an elective in. So to me, it's hurting teachers by making geography an elective instead of required. Because how many teachers are we going to throw out?
We're not releasing any teachers with this change.
No, but then if their classes don't get full, then you'll have to downsize and compact. And and kids don't know where. They think Colorado's probably in Russia. They don't know where things are. They don't have any idea where countries are. And
Actually, Mrs. Cooley, going to this will encourage kids to take more electives. It makes geography compete with other electives, foreign language, ceramics, and others. They are all competing for students. And if you have, again, if your name is Andrew Paulson and you're that kind of teacher at Paloma Valley, you're going to fill 5 classes with AP Geography because you're that kind of teacher.
But if they can't get all that requireds in that they need for graduation,
right,
then the first thing to go will be the electives.
Actually, this is going to give them more opportunities to take electives, not less, Mrs. Cooley. We're taking away health and geography, which is giving them the opportunity to take more electives than less. So, and again, no social studies teacher or health teacher will lose a job as a result of this.
And you're taking away geography as a requirement and adding it as an elective.
Correct.
So there will still be sections of geography, not probably as many because of being a requirement for all freshmen, but there will still be sections. And I have a meeting set up in 2 weeks with the geography teachers that we're interested in working on making revising the course to make it more dynamic and more attractive to students than the previous course.
But if they can't get their college requirements in, the electives will be the ones to fall.
Well, it still have the 225 credits. We haven't changed the number of credits a student needs, so we haven't made adjustment on that. They still have 55 elective credits that they have to take, and they get to choose those 55 elective credits. They have basically 170 credits that they're of required courses that we're saying you have to take these courses. So we haven't changed any of that, any of the reduce the number of electives they have the opportunity to take. And really they have an opportunity to take up to, if they just take a regular 6-period day for 4 years, they could take up to 240 credits, which would be 3 more electives even than what they're taking now. They have required to take.
Well, we already have disintegrated a lot of the vocational programs. Like when I was going to school, kids got to take shop and home economics and some of the other things.
And
Not
those are some-
everybody is going to go to college. We need people to be in other fields.
Right, and those are some of the things we're bringing some of them back slowly and surely as we're building our programs. More of the Project Lead the Way classes are leading more towards vocational education. We're working with Mount San Jacinto Community College to bring an auto program into our program. So we are looking for ways to expand our career technical education programs also as we're going through this.
Mrs. Cooley.
Nothing. Vocational courses. It's
When we went so heavy into
college bound, and not every kid's
well, not even
college
that. When we were doing so many intervention programs previously, when I first became principal at Paris High, we had to bring in so many interventions. We had kids in intervention math, intervention English, so that all they had 4 periods of English and math, and a PE class, and then one other class. Now we're working different ways to get our intervention in, whether it be in summer, whether it be in some intercession, whether it be an after-school program. So we're trying to open up more availability in their schedule so they can take those career technical education, because when you're looking at A through G, it's college or career and career ready. So if we can show that we have a pathway where a kid can go through a career technical education and take a capstone class, that's just as good as getting into A through G, getting into college. By the way, the state's going to evaluate us.
So you're saying that they can actually be in both categories? They could actually...
A student could meet A through G requirements and complete a CTE type program also along the way. And we don't get double the credit for it, but they would give us, if you're thinking of like the old API, you would get 1,000 points for it. If we get a kid that meets the A through G or makes a capstone class in a CT program, you get the 1,000 points. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are going to look like with how they're doing our API, but that's a similar.
I don't know whether I could meet with you but I'd like to see how the schedule is done over a 4-year period.
Mm-hmm.
I know it was really hard to get everything in when I was a counselor.
Right.
Can I just interject here just for a second? In the last year, when LCAP was implemented last year, the college and career focus became primary. And what we realized and what Grant addressed is that our students didn't have access to the courses necessary to go on to college as well as be successful in them. That became a primary need throughout the entire LCAP and in this district. So for us to design pathways so that they can accelerate as well as receive remediation, became imperative for us to make some changes. With that, we've been doing dual enrollment to help those, get a head start, get ahead. We also have worked with Mount San Jacinto. Not all students will go to a community college, but Mount San Jacinto has been, they've been working diligently with us in designing pathways, especially for our English learners, so they, some of that readiness English that a lot of students have to take their first year in college, they can begin to take those courses in our high school setting, et cetera, et cetera. The CTE, the Career Technical Education, is a number one priority for us. And I would say, and Diane, correct me, but in the last year, we have almost tripled the number of offerings in CTE because it is so imperative. We just contracted again with RCOE to make sure that we have those courses still offered, that we're not shutting down any of those. We need to grow and expand. So the efforts we're taking, they may not be perfect right now. We're always on that path of improvement. When we're seeking new ideas, new ways to afford ample opportunities for students to get those courses in. There is nothing worse than to see a senior second semester and you go, oh my gosh, you know what? He didn't get his 9th grade English in. Oh, how did that happen? Or he didn't get such and such in. And that does happen. It continues to happen. But the numbers are less and less. So even in the summer session this year, last summer, we offered what we called acceleration pathways as well as remediation or credit recovery. We will continue to look at those opportunities as well. So students can, we had, just for example, Pinacati, which I was so proud of. There were 83 students who were going into Paris High this year as freshmen, and they completed the health requirement. I think only a few got a C even. I mean, it was a tremendous program. So if we can continue to allow those opportunities, that would be great. Other students picked up a full year of language equivalency. So with our wonderful staff who offers those opportunities, we just need to keep pursuing that. It's not cutting geography. It's not cutting health. It's really blending them into existing programs. And when Mrs. Cooley talks about students don't know where Colorado is, yeah, that's true. But geography doesn't just happen in that one little module. Geography needs to happen across content areas, and that's also a big focus for us. English happens across all content areas. Math happens. So it's integrating the content areas to really enrich and allow our students to get the most information in a short amount of time, because they don't have much time in school. They really don't.
Right, and that's why I think without geography being required, we're going to be cutting teachers.
No.
Well,
one thing that's
I don't think
happened, we had Mr. Borbeau got promoted to an assistant principal from Paris High School. He was a social studies teacher. We didn't replace him this year, so they had 6 perioded out of his classes. So there's an opening there, and Miss Simpson's retiring this year. She's a social studies teacher. We may not need to replace, but we're not going to get rid of any teacher. Mr. Lynn was a health teacher at Paloma. He retired at the semester.
correct.
So we have some attrition happening by that. So we're looking at the numbers. I was looking at Paris High, and with what they have right now, the number of social studies teachers, every teacher would have a full schedule with the number of teachers they have right now.
Grant?
With the geography not being a requirement. Yes.
I'm going to date myself a little bit here. Back when they rode horses to school, I was a vocational ag teacher. So vocational ag and vocational classes learned by doing is near and dear to my heart. But it comes down to a matter of choice. You got only so many classes to take, and so you have to make up your mind which direction you're going to go. And the pendulum is swinging again. So, I mean, all those classes when I was riding that horse to school, we had wood shop, metal shop, mechanical drawing. I forgot home ec and all that stuff. Well, I didn't take home ec, but I took the other stuff. But there was plenty of stuff, right, to take. And the pendulum started swinging. We didn't have anything to do. What do they call these boxes now? We didn't have any of that. So that has come in and took, the place of some of the things that we used to do. But we see the pendulum, starting to swing. And so, that's, again, it's just a matter of choice. And it comes down to, getting as much as we can for all the students. We need to meet the needs from A through Z for all the students. And, well, it's highly impossible, but if we had a schedule like Japan or China, I think they go to school 12 hours a day, 4 days a week, 15 hours a day or something like that. So, I mean, and then they go to an American school, as well, as their own. And so, I mean, if we were to do that, that'd be a different story, but we're limited as to what we can do. And so, again, it's a matter of choice.
Right, and you're thinking about career technical education, the face of that is changing. What it looks like now is different than when we were in school. It's not the wood shop, metal shop, those type of things. Those are more antiquated programs. You're looking at more progressive things, the computer classes, programming classes, gaming type classes, where kids are learning those other skills that are that they can go out into the workforce and use, and not so much maybe the wood shop, metal shop things drafting when we were in school. So the face of it's changing in the way it.
Well, maybe here in this area, but certainly in the agriculture area in the Midwest, we've got to be able to.
Right. And we have
like
some.
What is it? My daughter always says, table to school, from farm to school. We've got to be able to feed all the people that.
Well, and we have 2 great ag programs in the district that have those capstone classes. So we do have some of the ag programs that are 2 of the biggest in the country that are very successful, that are getting kids through that type of program. They just added new capstone class this year, the veterinary science class, which they're going to start offering. So it's going to lead to that.
And that's an anomaly because most places have lost their ag programs. They dwindled down to nothing. When I was superintendent up in the Central Valley, this isn't the Central Valley. The Central Valley is the Central Valley. There's only one Central Valley in the state of California. I mean, they got buku stuff. And they went from a three-person program down to a one-person program. Now they're rebounding. They're back to 2 people. You know, and here, I don't know how you do it. It's commendable that you have how many umpteen ag teachers? You have 5 here and
5 and
4, 9 ag teachers. That's a lot of investment, you know, in agriculture. I think,
and that's one of our biggest
and
CT programs.
And we're an urban, you know, we're urban still here, right? Yeah.
It's called suburb.
Oh, suburb.
I'd be more than
suburb.
happy to meet with you to go over the
so it's
4-year plan graduation.
It's commendable anyway.
Do we still have an ROP program?
Yeah, we have some ROP. They've cut a lot of their programs. They're calling their programs CTE now instead of ROP. It's the same thing. But at Paris High we still have the restaurant course and the student store course that they have there. And civil engineering there also. We have the medical terminology pathway there. Then we have at Paloma, they have a student store program there too. I can't remember them all. But we have at Heritage, we have the digital photography and the video productions ROP classes. Some medical, this digital drafting and things like that. So we'd like to expand even more of them with them, but we have the ASL. We want ASL through ROP because they do that also, but it's hard to find teachers. So
we can provide a whole overview of the CTE as well as dual enrollment. As we'd be more than glad to do that. I mean, we can spend all night talking about it because it's we're passionate about it.
Well, and aren't we planning to do an auto program?
Right, we're
program
looking
over
at Paloma Valley, an auto program at Paloma Valley.
When will that be?
Actually, Diane, would you like to speak on behalf of the automotive program at Paloma Valley, since you have been working with site admin?
See, it's Manny, Mo, Jack, and Diane.
Yes. We are, we'll be offering through MSJC articulation courses for automotive at Paloma in the fall. So we will be working with Candace and M&O and Hector and Art, looking at facilities and doing some renovations this summer to prepare for the automotive class. We're also starting engineering, our PLTW engineering there as well in the fall. And we're also expanding our biomed programs at Paris High and Heritage and Paloma as well. So we are on the pathway to expansion of our CTE courses as well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because I was one of these kids that didn't want to go to college at all.
And what's great is, and like Marcy said, we'll do a comprehensive report on our offerings for the fall and our work with the MSJC, as well as our dual enrollment and our articulation agreements, and our industry certifications that we'll be offering our students in our internships as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good.
Yeah, I do want to remind you guys this is just an information item. We're not taking any action on it right now. This is just information. So, any other questions for Grant? I mean, we'll get a chance to talk about it again later. So, thank you, Grant.
President Rice, point of order here. On 14.4, it says board policies, instructions, and did not specify what the topic of this was. I would have chosen to address this topic had I been able to, and would I be given a couple of minutes?
I'll give you go right ahead.
And I have to say, it's not just because I'm a geographer, okay? Although it's partly that. I agree with Mrs. Cooley.
Oh, call me Doctor.
Dr. Cooley, okay. Trustee Cooley, that's right. All And when I came to California, I found out that it was quite alarming that many of our students thought New Mexico was not part of the United States and that Mexico was. So, I mean, we do have that specific challenge, but by and large, across the nation, our geography knowledge is very poor. I am somewhat of an authority on this, actually, at the high school level. That was my senior paper in college. And so I did work on it, my senior colloquium. Aside from that, I do want to say that both of these programs are, I feel, essential. Health is the one program that the teachers who have taught it, including myself, have all said that it saves lives, period. And it is being reduced, in fact, in the amount of material being covered. It would be reduced, according to this program that's being proposed, by 1/3 of a semester. Now, keep in mind, the textbook is a year-long textbook, but we have already pared it back to a single semester. And so we've already, at this stage, reduced it quite a bit, and now we're asked to reduce it 1/3 more. And the question is, what are we going to get rid of? Physical health ideas, communicable diseases, what part of the health paradigm are we going to just stop teaching? In addition, the structure of this is more reminiscent of a trimester. The PE teachers and the health teachers will be in a trimester kind of system. Whether or not the grades go that way, the students will be shuffled about by thirds of a year, okay, from teacher to teacher. And that is going to cause a lot of convoluted problems with grading. For instance, it's going to be weighted differently. If you were a PE teacher, your classes, you would have one portion of them for only 1/3 of the semester and one portion of them for 2/3 of the semester. How do you balance that grade with the health grade that's coming in? How do you weight those two separate grades? It's very confusing, and teachers who have actually gone through a similar thing like this with health before have seen a lot of conflict over, these grades. In essence, some students will have health for 1/3 of a semester in the first semester, and then 1/3 of a semester in the second semester. So they'll have 2/3 PE. Will their grade be better than the other students who have, a whole grade, 2/3 of a whole grade in health, which is an academically more challenging class? And so, I mean, there are lots of confusing things to this. Not to mention, and I'm out of time. Thank you very much. I appreciate listening to me, and I will have more to say on this. I'm sure this isn't done yet. So, thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Okay. That's the
I think it's coming.
conference.
Oh, that's coming.
I think.
Okay.
10:17.
I thought you pulled them off the agenda.
Right. Well, they want to talk. They want to discuss it.
Oh, you want to move it to action for discussion? Okay.
So they still want to discuss.
So they weren't pulled, they were moved.
They were moved.
Okay.
We-
Well, you already passed action items, so we'll have to do it at action item and get action items continued because you've already gone.
All right.
to action.
We will do that.
Give me a minute and let me move them.
Okay.
We won't go back into closed session, though, to help you out. Okay, so
We're
just,
moving.
yeah, it'll just keep going.
You can continue on, I'll just.
Bill, we see you're leaving. Like to thank you for coming in.
Join us.
Kind of early, Mr. Holstrom.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the benefits of not being on the board. Huh? Okay, so we are not going into closed session.
No,
anymore?
no, sir.
Okay. Okay. We're at the beginning of action items. I can wait for you if you want.
Yeah, you should be okay. I'll have your discipline item first. And
Do you want to take it? Did you want to?
No, she said do the discipline first.
Okay.
it's there on my end, so.
No, just want to explain something.
So just 10:17.
And no, 10:17 and
10:23. You want to vote on it tonight?
Oh, I thought it.
Those are different policies. They're not the same policy.
Yeah.
You're not discussing.
Yeah, you want to vote.
They're coming back.
But you're just going to explain something. I don't know what you want.
Okay, hold on. John, did you want to vote
Oh, sorry. On 1017?
That's the one about the field trip?
No, I'm going to do that.
That's the field trip.
Oh, I'm doing
wanna
the
vote
board
on that
policy about the,
That'll come back next month.
to be voted on. All right,
You want to wait on that?
whatever.
That one was being pulled then. Okay, so it's 1017 you want to vote. 1017 they want to vote on, not 1023.
Okay.
23 is being pulled, 1017 is just being moved to action.
And then we'll vote on that next, but I won't be here. Yeah, I won't,
I'm a little confused.
I'm confused too, so I'm trying to.
The item that you pulled was the Colorado.
No, he pulled the one on Colorado.
Okay.
He pulled the one on the instruction 6000 series.
1023. Which is not the same policy that you just discussed. The policy that's on the one that you asked to be removed, 1023, those board policies in that section are not what you just discussed with Mr. Bennett.
Okay.
They're different, those are two different policies not related to the one you just discussed.
Okay.
So you pulled those and then you did the information item. So you've already moved to pull that. If you wanted to put it back on and re-vote on it, then you need to make a motion to do so.
Or can we just bring
Since
them
it's
up
been
under
pulled
action
already- Since it's been pulled already, we can just wait.
and get them on action?
You told me you pulled them and moved them to action, so I just
Oh, okay, now we
moved
have.
them to action. So if you want to.
That's fine.
You can
Okay.
Just vote on it.
action
Okay.
now and
No.
then go to the next.
Okay, so both of those have been put on the action items. We'll actually vote on them today. You're fine with that?
We'll vote on it now. I mean,
The one you pulled, which like she said, is not the one we just talked about.
I'm going to table to the next meeting. That one I will, but this one right here, I'm just going to make a few comments.
All right.
So that one
It should come. It'll come
Okay,
up.
it'll all come up. She's already put it in now.
Just for added clarification, the 6,000 one that you pulled is entitled Certificate of Proficiency High School Equivalency, so it's not the item, as Lori said, that you talked about with Grant.
okay. Well, I read all through that, but, okay. The requirements now, okay.
Okay. Are we clear now? Everybody?
I think so.
Clear as mud.
Everybody's, yeah.
Okay. First,
Now that we've muddied the waters, is everybody okay with it? Okay. Action item, discipline. Board review of student discipline matters, ratification of the agreement of expulsion. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay. Ed and Carolyn, please vote.
this one's easy. I know.
Okay.
Here it is.
Here it is. The action item business out-of-state conference request for Paris High School Future Farmers of America students to participate in a summer internship at the Rutledge Farm in Yuma, Colorado in June, 12th to the 21st. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Joan and Ed. Okay. Now, Ed, you wanted to talk a little bit about this. By all means, go
Well,
ahead.
you know, one of the things that was left out as I was talking to my colleagues here, what was left out, it seems like the general fund is the only money that's being spent. So it's not just that amount. So there's the bigger picture. There's in-kind and other expenses contributed by the folks in Colorado that are receiving the kids. You know, there's transportation, there's food and board, and so on, and that wasn't included here. So I just wanted to be more transparent so that shows up there. And I don't know what that amount is, but just wanted to bring that out. Little thing like that, but just. You know, so we're getting a good deal for that amount. Then on the flip side of that, they're probably kicking in $10,000, maybe more. Who knows?
Wanted to give credit where credit was
yeah,
due.
yeah. All right.
Okay. Any other discussion on this one? Okay, please vote. Okay. All right. Next item. Action item, board policies, Series 6000. These look familiar. Okay. Do I have a motion?
I want to, yeah. What I want to move is that we table this till the next meeting, regular board meeting.
Till next board meeting. What? Any particular reason?
Well,
This isn't the one.
This isn't the one we just talked about.
Yeah,
This is something
yeah.
different.
And then that way you would vote on it like you were supposed to vote on it originally.
Yeah, as part of consent.
Yeah, it's part of consent.
Let me ask, is there immediacy to getting this approved tonight, Mrs. Savage?
We can survive.
The only
If you
thing
want
I
it
would-
done tonight, we can do it tonight. If not, then
Let me just point out that Mrs. Cooley will not be here at the next
I
meeting.
understand that.
So maybe if you want the full board to vote on it, you could vote on it tonight. But that's just a suggestion, whatever the board wants to do.
all right. I withdraw my motion. There wasn't a second anyway, so.
I would vote negatively. So
Okay.
You can put that down in your record.
Okay, so,
Vote on it.
so I move. Okay, so I move. So moved.
So moved. Okay.
There's yeah.
So we will be voting on it. I guess.
Second.
He's withdrawn his idea of tabling it till next month. So do I have a motion from Ed to vote on this? Do I have a second?
I second.
This is to approve the item. Yes. This is 6146.2 Certificate of Proficiency, High School Equivalency, Gifted and Talented Student Program. That's what this is about.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not the change of curriculum that we had just talked about. Okay. Please vote. Okay, and you said there was another 6,000 that we were voting on today? No. Oh, that was the other item. Okay. Okay. Information. Other items by the superintendent.
None.
Thank you. Great answer. Okay. 19.1. Other items by the Board of Trustees. Dr. Rouse?
No, we already handled that.
We already handled that? Okay.
That's right.
Miss. Okay, Ms. Ryman, Ms. Cooley?
Yes. I wish there could be more. I wish there could be more consequences to students' bad behavior, and when they can tell a teacher off and jump out of the classroom and tell him "F you," and there's no consequences. What kind of children are we going to produce? That bad behavior is okay, bad language is okay, and will it just escalate up to attacking a teacher or saying anything they want to, anytime they want to? That's all the comment.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cooley. Mr. Agundes?
Yeah, I agree. No other comment. I said I agree. No other comment.
For the record, I agree with Ms. Cooley as well. Unfortunately, the state's tying our hands with different things, though, but it is what it is. But, yes, I don't think that students should be able to do that either myself. So I have nothing else, though. So next item would be adjournment. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Don't everybody jump on it. Okay, who was the second? I'm sorry? Jose, okay. All right, please vote. Okay. Okay, that adjourns the meeting at 6:56. We're going to take about 10 minutes before we start CMI. I think everybody might need a rest here.
Hello, sir. One second. No, that's a. Oh no, that's fine. That's an important thing. Yes, my only I think that's a bad.
junior and senior, there's a little bit more flexibility. Take some more of the CT type classes. There is more availability during those classes. Those so that's where they get most of the elective type credit. Well, that's what, to start with, we're trying to get every kid that they start 9th or 10th grade, they're on track. If they see them being successful. The plan tests and stuff. They take an online career aptitude. 4-year plan. You start that when they go before they come to the high school. They set up what the kids need to take, and then they meet with them and monitor that every year. To start with, yeah, up through the 10th grade year, they're all pretty much on track, for lead them. Now, when they get to 11th grade, that's when we can look at see a kid that's maybe not doing that well, or they just don't have aptitude for university. They can still go to college. But that's when we start looking at the career technical education. So those are the classes have a pathway, their own pathway to go.
So are you saying with this turn?
An example. Yeah, I'll get that together for you. Yeah.
It's all of our charges. Basically,
mostly in Calvert.
We cannot expect things to happen. We're kind of educated.
If we're really going to go on to college,
Our admin has to be trained, and I'm
you did lose some in the auto shop over there, right?
Paris, ROP pulled that when I was principal. It got to be harder to get kids into those classes to keep the numbers up because we went so heavy into intervention.
I told them that it was because it was not
It was like an old school thing where they changed the way their brains it was tough. And at Heritage, I tried to bring all the shop in when I opened that school. The second year I was going to open it, I had a room set for auto shop. That's when the budget changed and we didn't have the money to put it in. And we could be more of the model behind the computerized instruments and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of what we're looking at with this.
I know, it's just really hard.
But I'll put together a 4-year plan and get that information and get that to you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
It's a major thing. We will, I will take the lead. I will take the lead. I will take the lead.
Well, I just think that we're raising a generation of kids that respect nothing. They can say and do anything they want to do. They can do anything that happens, and too bad. And the teacher, if the kid doesn't like it, they're going to say, sorry.
And it's not just today. Because I want you to know that was my job, and it's not just today, so we'll address it. I got it.
Hello, sir. Great, thank you.
Every day's been my wife's job.
Yes.
Well, I had enough time to go home and change. I'm going to go home and change.
Hello, sir. I see you too, sir.